I apologize if I just confused the hell out of you. Please go reference the chapter, pages 13, 14, that area, and, you know, so on and so forth. We see Sanji, you know, kick Korobu, beat the shit out of him in one kick, and then he gets the nosebleed thing. Robin looks like she's touching herself while she's putting on her coat. And this is where they carry on one of the old memes of or one of the old, like, you know, carry on jokes of the story. Everyone's like, oh, Nami, explain it to us. And she's like, oh, you know, don't even bother, blah, 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 like, you guys don't really want to know. They're like, oh, no, tell us, blah, blah, blah. So she tells them, and they're like, so mysterious sea currents exist, huh? And, like, they're all like, ah, yeah, mysterious sea currents, you know, having a drink. And she's all like, that's why I told you to keep quiet from the start, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, that's like an old joke, carry-on joke of the series, if you haven't seen that. All that cool stuff. Frankie's such a boss. Like, he knows that Sunny's a fucking monster, so nothing bad's gonna happen. And, wow, we are already approaching the end of the chapter. It seems so quick when I don't explain every little inkling of what Nami said about the currents, because that was sort of the bulk of the chapter. But, a few things to make note of is, you know, they're talking about, the currents, blah, 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 and, Korobu, how the fuck you say his name, is scared like a little bitch. He's like, oh man, we should just turn around, I don't want to die, blah, 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 blah. And I don't think he's just saying that because he's, like, playing the part of a bitch right now, like, acting like he's not the captain of the crew, because he said he wasn't the captain when they asked him, even though he is the captain. I think he's legit, like, scared like a bitch. So, that's kind of funny to me. Well, not funny, it's actually good. To me, it's good that he's scared like a bitch, because if he weren't, I don't know. The fact that he's scared like a bitch tells me that he's not, you know, on Luffy's level or anything like that, which I never thought he was to begin with, but it's just nice to feel that way a little more. And, where was it? Yeah, we have page 18 where we see the big squid. He's like, you know, Monstrosinosa Hyphenopanosaurus, and everyone's like scared like little bitches. We don't really see Frankie say anything, I don't think, on this page, but he wouldn't be scared. He'd be like, fuck that shit. Sunny Gao cannon, I'll rip through that motherfucker. But yeah, Luffy's like, I got an idea, I'm gonna tame that little guy. So we're gonna see some hockey demonstration probably, which most likely will show Korobu that he is out of his frickin' league. Although I didn't do a review of the last couple chapters in fact, but we did figure out that Korobu, however you say that dude's name, the captain of the ship, the bloody one, the crazy eye, the Rinnegan one, he is a Logia, it appears. We don't know what kind of Logia. Some people are guessing mud, although mud would normally be conveyed in with a brown color. If his shirt is brown, then obviously since it's a black and white manga, they would need contrast. So if he has a brown shirt, he might be a mud Logia, which would make sense because he's all into burying people. Some people have suggested a wax Logia, even though we already have Mr. 3. Some people are still suggesting it. I mean, it's a possibility at the very least. Clay, even, although it sort of seems like it has a pasty material to it, because it kind of like it feels like gravity would like have its effect on it. It seems like it kind of oozes and stuff. I don't really feel like it's a solid thing. I guess clay could be kind of like silly putty-ish, in a less concentrated state probably. But that's pretty much my 2 cents about that. And pretty much just about to finish up, I want to, you know, I've said that everyone was kind of freaking out like a bitch, but more specifically, Korobu was like, oh, we can come back in a few days, let's like chill out, let's not do this. And that kind of makes him seem to me, oh, he's not that big a deal. He couldn't have handled the squid with his crew, probably. So that obviously shows the tier difference. I mean, I still expect him to be a powerful person. I don't think he's at all fodder, not in the slightest. Seems like a character that's going to play a big part in the next arc. The the fact that we saw Momu is a hint that maybe we're gonna see either Arlong or maybe people from Arlong's crew. Another Sanji versus whatever his face fight would be interesting if that guy actually progressed in the same fashion that Sanji did. I'm not expecting that at all. I'm just saying it's something that we can at least jog around in our minds. But something else to make note of that happened a little earlier in the chapter that ties into this is, Karabu's plan. He's like, oh, I'm just going to sit tight. I could break out of these at any time, which goes along with the fact that he's a Logia. He could, material or dematerialize, go into his elemental state and wiggle out of those ropes, no problem. But he's like, oh, 9-on-1, I'm obviously at too much of a disadvantage, like herpaderp, but I can take them down one by one. So the fact that he thinks that he could take them down one by one, it's like you either are a complete idiot and have no idea what you're talking about. Although he seems like he's not that dumb. Like, I hope he's not that dumb. So I'm thinking he might be on the same level as a few of the Straw Hats. He'd probably let himself get captured, so I'm not going to count the Frankie easily grabbing him as anything. Yeah, I'm not too sure just yet. Although he didn't know that they were going to tie him up. So your guess is as good as mine. Feel free to leave comments about what you thought about that, what you thought about this chapter, what you think about the color schemes introduced in the beginning, and all of that good stuff. What you think about the current thing that I said. What do you think makes sense? I think it would make more sense for the colder parts to be where the water comes up, not where it goes down. But from my understanding of the chapter, Nami's saying it is colder where it goes down. Unless I'm like, a retard. But I mean, on page, I believe it's 14, Robin explicitly says, if the seawater is cold, the current will move down. Although, that does make sense because heat rises. So, I guess that actually makes perfect sense because heat does rise. But it just seems like if the bottom part's colder and the sea current's going up, why would the water coming from the cold place not be cold? But I guess, heat rises. So, I'm not a physics major, but I don't know. You guys can tell me your 2 cents on that. Oda probably did his research. He's not a retard. And this is a really fun chapter. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.